show, the Home Building Hot Seat. I'm your host, Brad Hubbard. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm overwhelming you with just oodles and oodles of builder power today. I mean, look at all the faces on this screen. A lot of people, all of them much better looking than me. But we're here to talk about the International Builder Show. So we're going to get into it. But if you've never been on my Home Building Hot Seat before, I just want to tell you a little bit about what it is and what it isn't, just so you understand what you've signed up for in this time. Really what this is this is just a monthly show. We come up with different topics that are important in the industry. We get in industry people who know a thing or two about the industry, and we talk about them. That's really what this is about. You're not going to see us selling anything. So unlike a lot of webinars where you come on and all they do is kind of give you deal after deal and want you to buy, you're not getting that. This is truly discussion type of things. But more important than this is, even though those of us on the screen here are going to be talking, this is really about you and what questions you have. So you'll see me looking around. I have kind of over here some questions that I have to kind of keep things going, but I'm always looking in case there's any questions coming from you. You can put them in and I try to answer them, or if you just want to make comments as we go along, you'll see me kind of looking over here and bringing it in. So truly, truly, we want this to be all of you asking questions and participating with us. So I hope you'll take the time to do that. At the end, when you log off here, just take a few moments. I have a short survey. I do ask you every single time, did you like this? Were these people worth it, or should I never invite them back again? Should we not invite Brad back again? Things like that. What are ideas for topics in the future? Because I truly, truly want to make these the best possible for you. And the only way we can do that is if we're hearing from you. Otherwise, I make up stuff and you don't want to hear that. So anyway, enough of that, enough of the housekeeping. We are talking about the International Builder Show, and I don't usually share the screen on this, but I just want to do this here for a moment so you can see what I'm talking about. Builder Show website is up. It's been up. You can get the app. And the reason why I want to show this here at the beginning as kind of my introduction to this topic here is, have you ever gone on here and tried to figure out what you're going to do in the Builder Show? So let's just look here for a second. If I go here, holy cow, all these things. That's just the first. Look at the attend. Holy cow, all this stuff. Exhibits. I think you get the idea. Where the heck do I start? You know, what should I even be thinking about? And those type of things. So make sure I stop showing my screen there and not hang up. Okay. That being said, I want to introduce you to some of the people around here. I'm going to take them kind of one at a time, introduce them, have them introduce themselves a little bit. Chances are really good you know who these people are, because, you know, if you're in the home building industry, these are powerhouse people, folks. So honored that they've all agreed to come on here. So I just put them in no particular order, so none of them can get upset with me because they're first or last or anything. But I'm going to start with Monica Wheaton, our VP of Customer Success at ECI. Monica, thank you so much for joining us. Again, those who don't know you, I don't know who it wouldn't be, but or who would not know you. Like to say hi to everybody and a little bit about yourself.
Hi everyone, so great to see your names here on this call. I'm glad you could join us. I'm looking forward to seeing you at IBS if you're coming. I've been with ECI for about 6.5 years now. Time certainly flies by, and I work with our customers to make sure they're using their products successfully and meeting their goals with their software. So excited to see you at the show. Thanks, Brad.
All right, thanks so much for being part of us here. Paul Cardis, over in my bottom left corner here, CEO of On3. If you want to say hi to everybody, again, those who don't know you can say what you're about, you know, all that kind of stuff. And if you know anything about home building, important stuff.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Brad. Great to be here with all of you, and all good friends and experts in the industry. So quite honored to be included in the group and looking forward to sharing IBS. I've been going since I actually found that out earlier today. I did the math, and since 1995. So it's been a long time here going to the show. I actually attended it with my father, who's no longer with us, but he chaperoned me through the show during those early days.
Awesome. So yeah, you've been there a long time. Monica, how long have you been going to the show? Do you know? Any idea?
Many years. I can't say, or I'll let you know how old I am.
All right, fair enough. Okay. All right. We're going to go up to Jane Marr, top of my screen too. Jane, CEO, President of Success Strategies, Design Center folks. So I'm sure a lot of you know. Jane, like say hi a little bit about yourself, how long you've been going to the show, and anything else.
Sure. Well, hello, everybody. Thanks, Brad, for assembling this panel on this really important topic. I think hopefully we'll all learn from each other today. So yeah, I'm Jane Marr. I own a company called Success Strategies, and believe it or not, we are the nation's design studio experts in design studios and design collections. I love to share my passion for consumer purchase psychology and retail theory, and help home builders with the business side of design. In terms of, I think I might win the prize here. Not sure if that's something you'd want to win, but for the longest at the show. Let me preface this by saying that my second year in the industry, I actually attended the show because the person that I worked for at the time, I worked in market research for home builders. The owner of the company was one of the original founders of the MERM, the Member of Institute of Residential Marketing Program, and he was a top speaker at the show. So I'm definitely going to date myself here. If you want to do the math, you can figure it out. It was my second year in the industry, you guys. That was 1986. And since then, I have attended, I think, just like you guys, I was also trying to figure it out, I think 32 of the last, like, however many years that would be. So a lot.
Yeah, you know, you've been there a couple times. I bet we're gonna get some tips out of you. I think that'll be fantastic. Well, great. Well, thanks so much for joining us. I'm so excited because I know each of you on here is going to be kind of pulling from different parts of the strings from the show, and I think that's awesome too. Melissa Morman, Principal, Built for the Future. Hello, thank you for joining us. If you don't mind saying hi to everybody and a little bit about you and how long you've been going to the show.
Sure. So I've been in the industry about 25 years, and I had to do the math, and it's been 27 years at IBS. So I kind of feel like a noob now that I listen to Paul and Jane and everybody and how long they've been going to IBS. And for much of the 25 years, 22 years, I co-founded and ran the Homebuilding Technology Consortium, which most people know as BDX, which is now under Zonda. So that's been a few years. And I can say, truly, I am enjoying this chapter of my career more than any other, in that I still am really passionate about digital transformation and technology and customer experience, but I'm kind of a free agent. Like, I don't care which product or solution builders use. I don't even care if they don't use one. What I want is for them to be knowledgeable and make conscious decisions of, yes, I'm going to do that. No, I'm not going to do that. Why? And then I can help them find the best solution, which is not one solution fits all. Spoiler alert on that. And probably the most fulfilling is working with builder exec teams, marketing sales teams on their strategies, and then individual mentoring is probably like the most fun. So it's a great season, actually.
Awesome. And did you? I may have missed it. How long at the show?
Let's see. I counted 27. This will be my 27th. So I've been 26.
Yeah.
So, I know.
Man, oh man. Well, thank you. Thanks for being part of this. I know you'll just add some fantastic perspectives here today, as you always do. We have Kimberly Mackey here. Again, I was just going around, so don't be mad at me, Kimberly. You're kind of last, but they always say save the best for last, maybe. So we'll kind of
save the best for last. No.
Yeah.
I am in fantastic company with this panel. Wow, you really you got some people who know their stuff here, so it's great.
I know I fool people every once in a while into coming on and sharing wisdom, but thank you so much. But if you'd like to say hi to everybody, Kimberly, of course, founder, management consultant, New Homes Solutions. But I'd like you to say a little bit about yourself, what you do, and how long you've been going to the show.
Well, you prompted me to figure this out. So my first show was the last year. It was in Atlanta.
Oh.
So that was 2002. And we've grown exponentially since then. So for those of you doing the math at home, I believe that makes this my 24th show that I have attended. So I've attended every year since then.
Wow.
And it just keeps getting bigger and better. My name is Kimberly Mackey. My company is New Home Solutions. And what I do is I always like to say that I'm who you call when you want sales to be the engine that drives your train rather than what runs it off the tracks. So I'm an immersion consultant. I do processes, procedures to make sure that you have persistent, predictable, and most importantly, profitable sales. And whatever it takes to get there, from working with your management team, getting involved with your systems and making recommendations, making sure you're maximizing those, as well as training the sales team and training your leadership and coaching your leadership. So if I can help with any of that, give me a shout.
Awesome. Thanks so much. I love the alliteration that you use with all the P's in there. I thought that's
Right? Well, it's the only I can remember it.
all time fun. Yeah, that's for sure. Hey, everybody, we just do a real quick poll. This isn't going to take long at all. I just ask 2 questions because sometimes, like, I'm looking over for questions. You're not sure. I want to get you a little warmed up and saying, hey, it's okay to do this. And I can't see individual results or anything, but I'll ask this first question here too, and it's just basically, how many times have you been to IBS yourself? So it doesn't need to be 28 times or 60 times or 2 times or whatever. It doesn't really matter. It just kind of give me an idea of, how many times you've gone. So we'll just wait here for a few seconds. We got about 50% vote. I can't see individual. We can only see, overall. So don't worry if you put none. So we'll give you about 5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. I'd just like to share that in here just so we have an idea that you're in good company. So let me just do that. So share. Let's see, boy, it's been a while since I've done this one too. Yeah, so there you go. There's kind of, it's really small, my screen. So yeah, very nice. So I'm glad we got a lot of first timers this time. So thank you so much on that. So hopefully you'll get some out of this. So again, keep those questions. If you have anything that we're not covering, you go, I really want to know that, throw it in there, folks, because we'll put her out there. Okay, one other one too, and this is just if you've gone, for those who have gone, this is kind of, where do you feel you get the most value or have gotten the most value in the past? We'll give you a few moments on this. Any guesses from the folks around the table here? Which one you think is going to be the highest? No right answers or wrong answers? Anybody?
Well, it's always about that floor and the educational sessions for sure.
Okay. Anybody have any differing opinion? We'll give out.
I think it could vary from year to year. I've probably myself would say all of those have come up depending on the year and who I was meeting with and how great the sessions were and all that stuff.
Okay. We only got about 36% voted, so I'm going to give 5 more seconds, folks. I can see how many percent, but I can't see who. I just see a percentage. So 3.
Yeah, and
2,
I think overlaying all of it is the people that you run into. Either you hear a speaker you'd never heard, you meet somebody in the audience you just happen to sit next to, you're at the party. I do think it's those connections, the unplanned connections, even though I'm going to talk about plan. It's those unplanned intersections that have become relationships for years.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I guess I was sitting there thinking, I guess I shouldn't wait for everybody to vote because we had a lot of people that said this is their first time. So they probably weren't voting like we dummy Brad. That's why I didn't do that. So here you go. Yeah, I think some of the ones we thought from the top, I think, Paul, you mentioned that from the beginning. There's some of the higher ones. But yeah, again, you're seeing stuff from all over the place. And I think hopefully we'll find that there is value in all of it. I think you hit it on the head. So, all right. Well, let's jump in here, folks. Remember, there's questions. I'm always looking over here. So if you see me doing that, I'm seeing if you have any questions coming up. And let's just kind of start off I know kind of the show says February 17th through the 19th, right? That's Tuesday through Thursday or something like that. But there are some events that happen before, some as early as Saturday. And there's some educational events. I think there's some NAHB meetings, I believe so, that are in that meeting. So I'm kind of curious. I'll go around. I'll pick, because usually when I say anybody, none of you want to speak because you don't want to speak over each other. So I'm just going to start kind of in a clockwise on my screen and then say, Jane, when are you getting there? And are you getting there early? And if you are, what do you recommend doing early when you get there?
Well, this year I am not coming as early as I usually do. In the past, I've come days early, either as part of the committee meetings or in advanced prep. I've taught some of the pre-show sessions in the past. So a lot of the years I've come earlier. This year I am not. But what I do when I get there, which would be a tip for everybody, is I get as prepared as I can for the week. I mean, from silly things like ironing or steaming any clothes to making sure like I am super organized, because once it hits, it's go time and you think you're gonna have time for all these things and you don't. So I've realized that putting my hotel room in an organized state, being clear on my head, having my agendas, what I need to grab every day, so I don't have to think, and I can give my presence, you know, full attention to being there and experiencing everything. So,
Oh, that's awesome.
but there are some great pre-show sessions usually every year, the day before.
Awesome, great to hear, and good. Yeah, get your ducks lined up. You're right, because once it goes, you're going nonstop pretty much till you drop. Melissa, I'm going to come over on my screen to you next. What day are you getting in, and any pre-show things you would suggest?
Yeah, so I mean, in past years, when we had a booth, it would be Saturday to Saturday and craziness, as Monica can relate. So I feel kind of luxurious in that I'm going to come in Monday and then leave on Friday, you know, just a little bit. My heart goes out to anyone who has a booth. Bless you, Monica. Take a similar slant to Jane in terms of you have to plan and you have to have a dance card before you get there, because if you think you're going to just show up the first morning and wing it, you won't get anything out of it. And I kind of start with, as a builder, write down what are the problems you're trying to solve. Forget about the solutions for a minute. What are your problems, or what are your aspirations? What is it that you're trying to do with your business? And then look at the exhibitors, look at the speakers, look at the topics, and match those things up, because you can't see everything. It's impossible. There's 1,600 exhibits, and if I calculated right, you could spend 1 minute at every exhibit if you went to all of them, and that's not going to a speaking session. So, you know, you're gonna have to pare down, maybe 60, you know, exhibits and maybe 8 sessions, right? So you've got to have your dance card. And the other thing I would say is make appointments. If you say to someone, well, let's catch up, it doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. But schedule appointments, but do 15 minutes and then do 10, right, in reality. So you've got to be really super scripted, and then you got to leave some holes for the surprises that you didn't know you were going to find. So that's kind of my thought.
Awesome, great, good pre-show advice. I'm going to continue right around there with Monica. You're next.
All right, so yes, I am coming out on Saturday, but actually later than I typically do, because I'm doing a little bit of a detour first up to Pittsburgh. But I get in Saturday night, and then I am on NAHB committees and things like that. And so there's lots of subcommittee meetings all day on Sunday, full committee meetings on Saturday. And if anybody's curious about NAHB or anything, anybody is welcome to come to these meetings, and you can sit in as an observer and kind of check out what they talk about. They're all listed on the NAHB website, so you can check that out. Having a booth is really nice. I always go to the show floor when I get there as an exhibitor. We get on the show floor early, and it's really interesting to see how it all comes together and things get built up. And then I'm just there through the rest of the week. So that's kind of my plan.
Awesome, great to hear. Great, yeah, and I think I've attended some of those NAHB classes early, or sessions early too. So we got into those.
Sorry, I forgot to mention that the classes are early, yes. And like, if anybody knows Bob Kane with ECI, he actually is a certified instructor with NAHB. And so there's an example of the classes you can find there, like job costing and accounting. And so it's a full day of training that you can attend.
Good to hear. Thank you, Monica. Kimberly, you're right around the clock on my screen as I come to you. What day are you getting in, and any pre-event things you're doing and or suggest to others?
So this year is unusual for me because I am the Rising Senior National Associate Chair. Associates can only go so far on the ladder with the National Association of Home Builders, and this is kind of it. So my show got extended and condensed at the same time. So my schedule's a little wonky, but I am arriving on Saturday. I should have gotten there on Friday, but I'm skipping something Friday just to make it through. So Saturday all day committee meetings, Sunday all day committee meetings, and Monday too. So I've got 3 full days of committee meetings. But like Monica said, there's some great, I did take note of the pre-show sessions, and I felt like we have more of a stacked deck on that than we've had in the past couple of years. I know Jan Hasbrook reached out to me and said that he's offering a new class. So this will be the first time it's offered on Sunday. It's called Path to Gold, the complete new home sales professional or salesperson or something to that effect. It's but Jan is, if you've ever taken one of his courses, they're always really, really good, very hands-on. So Jan, speaking as the voice of experience. And then I did note that we're doing a train the trainer. And I always think, you know, a lot of times people don't think about train the trainer because they're like, oh, I don't have time to be a trainer. But it deals with how to present, how to organize your thoughts, how to even stand. And, you know, if you're going to do any media relations, if you speak at your HBA, at your Home Builders Association, anything that involves you being able to have more of that presence and be in front of a camera and not be quite so freaked out about it, Train the Trainer is a great course for that. So it's a good all-around course. So if somebody is looking for something that can help them grow personally as well as growing their business, that's a good one. And it is on Monday, I noted. So and those are definitely pre-show courses that I would take advantage of if I weren't in all the gazillions of meetings.
Yeah. Well, great. Yeah. So if you go to that website I've shown you, it had all those links at the beginning under education events. You'll see one that actually says pre-show education. So great points on that. Thank you, Kimberly. Paul, I'm going to bring it over to you. And what day are you coming in from, from Wisconsin? And, what suggestions do you have for folks?
Yeah, I'll be coming in on Saturday. Got some committee meetings like the rest of us here on the group. So I'll be there early, and then we're also putting our booth together. So we'll be getting busy with that. Also the New American Home, if you can check that out, I highly recommend that. It's a wonderful show home that the National Association and the Leading Suppliers Council works on it for well over a year. In fact, this one I think was almost 2 years in planning. So it's quite a spectacle, and you'll see all the best products there. So definitely get on the bus, check it out. It is off-site, so you will need to dig in to find that, but that's one of the highlights of the show. I also recommend that if you're coming to the show, remember that this isn't your typical local conference. We're going to have thousands of exhibitors, thousands. You won't be able to see everything in a single visit. You're going to need to get online and chart a course, because there's going to be different areas of the show that are far away from each other. I believe there's South and West Hall this year that will be spread across, and the distance between those two is definitely a long walk. You're talking minimum 30 to 40 minute walk between those two areas. Now they do have some segways and things like that, and you might even get an Uber to get over there too. I've heard of that, but if you're walking it, you got to plan ahead. So I recommend you chart a course, go online. They've got all the exhibitors out there, and schedule meetings too, if you can, with the booth people that you want to see. We're taking meetings, others are doing the same. This way you can set a schedule and plan your time and make sure that when you get to these booths, you're talking to the right people. But always you can pop in on a booth, so don't be afraid of that. But definitely note that there's just a lot to see and you will be overwhelmed. So having a plan will really help. And yeah, that's about it. I mean, there's more, but I'll stop there.
No, I think that's really good. And I think we've heard a number of things. So folks, for you going the first time, definitely plan out your step counter. They'll be super high that day. So let's talk about walking. I mean, you walk all over the place on there too. Now, I'm not one, I don't wear these, but some of the ladies here may. And Paul, I don't know, there's no judge, it's okay. But let's talk about shoes on heels at home.
Don't worry, Brad.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, me too. That's right. Yeah. So, ladies on that end, have you seen people show up kind of dressed like, hey, I'm going to a bigger conference, I'm going to dress, and quickly find out they have the wrong shoes? And what would you suggest for shoes coming in? And I'll let any one of you jump in, because I'm seeing a lot of yes my sneakers or my slip-on loafers are about the same no matter what. So.
Well, I'm like the shoe like maven, so I love shoes. Yeah, now there are these Amazon women that do seem to run around the show in their stilettos, and I admire them and envy them. 99% of us can't do that. Now there is a great product. So here, I'm not even selling these product.
I was gonna say, wait, I was gonna say, no selling here. We're not allowed. So.
They're called Sneaks, and they're stiletto tennis shoes, and I am going to try them, although I'm still not confident. I mean, it's tennis shoes, loafers, and everybody understands that you got to be ready for a marathon. So Hoka tennis shoes are perfect.
Here's the secret. I carry in my backpack. I wear a product called Fit Flops, where apparently we're dropping name brands of shoes here. So they're not flip flops, they're Fit Flops, and they're like walking on air. They're the most amazing thing. I wear those in between everywhere I am going. And when I get to wherever I'm going to go, I sit down outside, change my shoes, look like a grown up again, and then go in. So that's my secret to actually being able to not shred my feet. It's Florida, so I don't have to have on, like heavy duty boots, and Vegas either. You never, these are fairly warm climates, so most of the time. So hopefully it will be warmer for Orlando, and you'll be able to get away with that. But definitely inside, it won't matter one way or the other. Put the sneaks on, not unsupported flip-flops, because your feet will kill you. It's still too much walking for that. You need supported shoes that are really going to support your feet, and have a plan for doing some quick changing. If you feel like you need to be in those stilettos, do it only for a limited time.
I'll echo that and say pretty much whatever Kimberly said, especially if I'm speaking. Guys, I'm not wearing the heels that I'm wearing on stage all day. Like, it's suicide to do that. It's not a good idea. So for the most part, I would say don't break in brand new shoes. That would be a bad idea. Bring those comfortable shoes, because efficiency and getting what you need to get out of the show is really going to be more important with how you look, and nobody really expects it. Anybody that has been to the show before, nobody's looking at anybody's feet. We're all in the same boat. So, carry your nice shoes. And maybe bring some blister Band-Aids or things like that.
There you go.
For sure.
I typically wear I have JLo boots that I wear, and I love them because they're stylish and they're somewhat comfortable, but they do give blisters after a while, and you just have to suck it up. Like, if you get a blister, that's your feet go numb, and you have to make it through the rest of the week. So just plan your footwear appropriately, and do not try those new shoes on. Seriously, you're going to die.
Yeah, Band-Aids will be
about
good too.
22,000 steps a day for me. That's yeah, my Fitbit loves me for the week. Yeah, it's like I'm getting all kinds of badges and awards, and but it's about, that's what you're doing. You're doing about 22,000 steps a day.
Yeah, and sometimes even getting between the places, you go, I could take an Uber or something, but after a while you go, you know what, it's going to be just as long to wait for that. I'm just going to walk it. So I think a lot of people do it. And sorry, Jane, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was just going to say, I thought of something when Kimberly was speaking. Like, maybe leaving your hotel in your comfortable shoes is what I do. Don't waste your, high heels if you're wearing those to get to the convention center, because you're going to need, you're going to need them for other times of the day if you have evening events or whatever. So, and then, invest into comfortable high heels, which I do have, thank God, a couple of pairs of those.
Good to hear. And for all that name dropping, like I said, none of it was being sold. To keep the ECI police away from me, we get nothing out of any sales from that. We don't own them. So if you have your lawyer on speed dial, tell them not to call us. So all that kind of fun stuff too. All right, real quick. This will be a quick answer question for you. Opening ceremonies, they usually have a name brand speaker. I believe it's Emmett Smith. I don't know if we'll be speaking of his dancing career or his football career, a little of both. It'll be pretty much a yes, no type of thing. I'm going to ask each of you, and again, I'll come around the corners here with you. Is it worth even going to the opening ceremonies, or is it kind of a waste of time? And yes, no, something like that. Paul, I'm going to start with you this time because you were last time, so I'll let you be first this time.
It depends. Honestly, I don't ever make them because we're so busy. So I'm going to pass. And I know we've had some tremendous openers, and I'm sure Emmett's going to do a great job. So if you're into that, check it out. But
Okay.
for me, it's a pass because I usually don't have time to get to the opening, unfortunately.
Fair enough. No wrong answers here. Kimberly, how about you?
I've heard Emmett speak before, and he really is great. So I think it'll be a good motivational thing. If you have a conflict, look at what else is happening during that time, because you get limited time, and that tends to be a ways away from things. I think it's probably over at the, it's at one of the hotels, right? Yeah, I think it's at the, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the Hyatt across the street. So, just look logistically, because I think that I can't go because I'm actually speaking at 9:30. So there's no way to get there and get back over to where I'm supposed to be and get ready to go. But when I have gone, I found them very motivational, and I think it's, first time show, maybe that's one of the must see things for you.
Nice. Thank you. Monica?
Yeah, I don't typically get a go, but I did go one year when it was the guy from Dirty Jobs, and that was really interesting. They had a really pretty production and all of that. It takes a long time to get in, and it takes a long time to get out. So you're not just going to a 1 hour show, you kind of are investing at least 2 hours to be there. And if that's the experience you want, then awesome, great. It's worth it for that. But again, if you've got other things you're trying to do, I make sure you're focused on what your goals are for the show and that you're meeting those goals.
Awesome. Great. Melissa?
Yeah, I'm kind of like with many of us, I rarely have had the time to go, but they're huge name speakers. And I did go to one year, which was amazing, but a little challenging. It was the guy who cut off his arm to escape the canyon or something. He wrote a big book, hiker. And they had to keep stopping his presentation because people are passing out in the audience because it was, kind of grueling. But
Yeah.
it was an incredibly motivational speaker. So to me, it's like, if you can, it's an opportunity to see someone that you might not otherwise get to hear. So I would go for it if you can.
Awesome. Jane, round it out.
I've only ever gone once. So with all due respect to the opening ceremonies and the amazing speakers, which I'm sure are awesome, my criteria is, does this align with the goals I have this year and what I need to achieve? And if it doesn't, and it would be nice, I tend to not end up doing the things that like, oh, that sounds nice, and instead do the things that are really more aligned with making sure I have a successful trip.
Yeah. All right, there you have it, folks. So kind of plan accordingly. Sounds like it's certainly not going to be a waste of time unless maybe you have something better. So take it or leave it there. Don't tell Emmett I said that. I don't want his lawyers to call me either. So, so we've talked a little bit about mapping out things and kind of planning it. If you haven't, folks, there is an app available in the app stores. You can look it up already and put in your registration number to get in and do that. Is that how those of you around here, do you typically use the app? Do you go old school and have a map lined out where you're highlighting and putting arrows and those types around? I'm going to go a little bit in a different way. It doesn't have to be super long. You can just explain. However, I'm going to start with you, Kimberly, this time. How do you map it out? Do you actually use a map, or do you just go wing it and hope for the best? And I
wing it. I use that app. So, yeah. And Monica and I were on a committee call earlier this week, and a veteran of the industry said, "Oh wait, I don't have the app," and I'm like, "Get the app."
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know how you do it without the app. And you can set up your agenda. You can even line it up, like you can put it on your actual calendar, or you can I use that as my calendar for the week and put the stuff on there, because it just gets, usually, it's different time zone for me, and it will be for a lot of people. I'm fortunate this time I get to drive instead of fly. Mm-hmm. But use the app and don't limit yourself. Put 2 or 3 things at the same time. It's okay. Yeah. Because you may find that you're at a different place, and so now you've got a backup plan, or you may find that you go to the first thing and you're like, and so now you've got plan B. You're not wasting time. You got something else to go see, or you get enough out of one thing and you go to the one next door that you already had planned to see. Instead of having to scroll the app and go, well, this isn't really what I thought it was going to be. Let me find something else. Now you've got a plan for it. So I usually end up triple booked for the whole show.
Good. And I see a lot of agreement, so I won't have you all kind of say the exact same thing, but I thought maybe we'll take a different angle. Anybody here kind of go with a team and divide and conquer? You go, hey, you get this, you go here. And if anybody wants to volunteer, because I'm seeing a couple people saying yes, how do you do that if you're taking, a team? Because a lot of builders and people that do go with a team. Anybody, and when I say that, then nobody usually speaks up.
Well, yeah.
I'll jump in on that. I know a lot of my builder clients do that, and I know a lot of people that are in kind of networking groups that also do that. So, I think that's always great when you can share the knowledge, take amazing notes, and then have that debrief session where everybody gets to share everything. But I want to anchor in what Kimberly said about like not being afraid to leave a session or a meeting or whatever it is. If you've got enough out of it, like go move on to the next thing, because there's not that much time, so use it wisely.
Yeah. Paul, did you have any additional you want to?
Yep, fully concur. That's the way to do it, because you're not going to see the whole show. It's impossible. So divide and conquer is really a smart way to do it, and have different teams meet with different folks, and for both sides it's a win, right? Because we spend a lot of money as exhibitors, and we want to meet with as many folks as possible, and likewise you want to get the most out of the show as well. It's an amazing show, so plan accordingly.
Okay, fair enough.
I would add that the education events, if they're the building knowledge session, they're on the big stages. So they're either videoed or audio recorded for a lot of them. So if you do miss something, or you didn't take good notes, or you lose your notes before you get home, then there is the opportunity after the show. And I don't think very many people really take advantage of that, but I do like to go back, especially if I had two booked for the same time and I only got to one. Then after the show, when those become available, I'll go listen to the other one. So it's not the same as being there, but it's the next best thing.
Right.
Yeah,
very
great
good.
point.
Love it. So let's talk about the floor itself. I mean, it's tons and tons of booths. I think, as mentioned earlier, kind of plan out what you want to see and go kind of see those too. I'm going to ask it because I like being the devil's advocate and ask the questions. Are the booths really worth it, or is it just a sell fest? I mean, are you, granted, the booths are there to sell their products, those things. Should anybody, especially first-time buyers, be worried that it's kind of like the stereotypical sleazy car salesman coming and go, oh boy, and those types of things, or can you really get a value out of the booths? Like, what's the most value you can get out of that? And Melissa, I'm going to start with you on this one.
Yeah. So, I think it is a great opportunity to witness amazing salesmanship, and then people who probably should not be in sales. So it's kind of amusing from that standpoint, right? You're just like, it's an interesting way to pitch that. I think they're definitely worth it, because I look at it, one, just selfishly, it's a time saver. If you can hit 60 booths, that's 60 phone calls you may not have to have later. And of the 60, you go, well, there's 5 or 10 or whatever that I want to go deeper with post-show, because you're not going to get to a close. Like, you're not going to sign a contract on the show floor, right? This is a great way to vet. And these exhibitors work really hard. This is their best foot forward. So if you're not real impressed there, it's not going to get better later, right? And the other cool part is, even if the salesperson is not a great salesperson, a lot of times you get to meet like Paul Cardis, right? You get to meet the CEO. You get to meet Monica, who's not on sales, but she has great knowledge. You get to meet the product owners who are actually putting features in the product. They really know how to demo their stuff, and you can tell them what's missing or what you like. So they're there to kind of gain information as well. So I think, if nothing else, it really just is an effective way to get a complete view of the industry and set your game plan for the rest of the year as to where you're going to go after the show.
I love it. That's awesome. On the same side, Paul, you have a booth there. You've had one just for fun. We talked about, folks like you or CEOs who are there getting some of that firsthand knowledge. If you had to, and we don't need any specifics or names, say, like, what are kind of some of the biggest not pet peeves or what you shouldn't do when you go into a booth? So this is your chance to say, yeah, don't come in and ask me about this. It's because, hey, it can be right for someone coming in if they want to make a scene or something too. It's been done in different places.
All right, I have a good one there, Brad. I know where you're going. Okay, so we host lunches for some of our premier clients. We'll host lunches. So they do cater to because you can't bring in food from the outside in. And by the way, lunch is a thing, okay? The lines are going to be massive. if it's anything like previous years. So I recommend you get your lunches early so you don't get caught in these long lines to get food, because it's, not fun. But like, if you were going to Disney World or whatever, going to be, an hour line to get a sandwich is not a good experience. So anyway, so we help alleviate that. And when we've had the sandwiches, people are so desperate for food that we'll have strangers just come on in and sit on down and start grabbing a lunch. And often we have to rope it off just to keep people off our sandwiches and food. So that is a bit of a pet peeve that they they can come in and just grab whatever. But we always never make a big deal of it. If they're that hungry and they need a sandwich, we're happy to let them grab one. But we always have to order extra. But the sandwiches are ridiculously expensive. So
yeah,
it's not that is a bit of a pet peeve.
Can I add a pet peeve?
Yeah, go for it.
Just having run exhibits for years. A lot of people come up and want to hide their badge so you don't know who they are. And that actually is not helpful. I mean, I think they think, oh, well, they're going to spam me or whatever, hawk me after the show. But if I'm in the exhibit, which I don't have exhibits anymore, but if I'm standing there and I don't know who you are, I don't know where to take the conversation. Right. And if you're being cagey, so I would just say, look, you can always unsubscribe to people if they end up spamming you later, but most companies don't. Paul Cardis is not going to do that. Monica's not going to do that. But you can have a meaningful dialogue if they know who you are, where you build, how much you build, what your pain point is, what you care about. That's a good dialogue.
Right. And if you're not interested, let them know. Be very open and honest and direct, and it's fine. Believe me, we've got plenty of people to talk to, and we'd love to spend our time with those who are interested versus not interested. So, just be honest and say, no, not for me, and it's all good.
Yeah, that's a good point, because a lot of people think that's all it is going to be spam, but why waste the sales? They don't want to waste their time too. So I think that's a good point. Monica, it looks like you were going to.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, if you just want to grab a pen, then just grab a pen. But the other point is, a lot of these salespeople have been trained to sell the product to a certain persona or a certain person's problems. And if you're not identifying that I'm a salesperson looking for this specific solution because I'm trying to solve this problem, they're not going to be able to relate to you at all to tell you why their product is going to solve your problems, right? And so that's doing yourself a disservice, because you don't then get the exposure to how they could potentially help you in your business, right? So really, if you can not be cagey like that, that would be awesome for both of us, right? For everybody. So, but I also wanted to just say, like, I actually have been planning for IBS for the last 2 to 3 months, and it's a little obsessive, I know, but I do go on the website and I find out which exhibitors are going to be there. I find out where their booths are, and then I map them all out. Like, I put them in the number order, and then I start making appointments with the people that I want to see based on where they're located in the hall. So that, again, we talked about, you don't want to go from south to west and back again and all of that. So you want to meet with the people that you want to meet with. Another quick suggestion is, as you're making those appointments, ask them if there's any after hours things going on, because I know the days are long, but a lot of times there's other after hours things where you can network with your suppliers, your manufacturers, other builders, and things like that. And a lot of these parties happen. If you don't ask about them, you may not get invited to them. I do the same thing with the education sessions. And so I pick out, I've got a whole spreadsheet of education sessions, and the website makes it a little bit hard. So I couldn't find Paul Cardis's presentations, but I go through and I find every presentation, and this is a little obsessive, I know. I click on it and I see, where is Paul Cardis? Where is Jane speaking? Where is Melissa speaking? And Kimberly? And those are the then sessions that I put on, and I make a note of a whole spreadsheet where I know who's speaking in what sessions and where, so that if I have the time, again, like you said in the app, if you have the time, overlap, so that you can then choose how you want to spend your time, and then you have that plan B as well that you can go to. So
great point. And I would like, if each one of you, if you are speaking in here, let the folks know this will be your chances. We're not selling anything, folks. It's free to go once you're in the show. It's not here, but this is your shameless self-promotion time for you to be able to say, hey, this is where you can find me. And because, we're quarter of, and I want to be respectful of everybody's time. So I'm going to go around the corner and just say, hey, are you speaking? And if so, where? And I'm going to start. Jane, you're again at the top. Where are you speaking at, if you are?
Well, thanks. I want to say one thing about the booths. A lot of times the show floor is more empty on Thursday, guys. So Tuesday, it's hard to get into a lot of more popular booths. And like Monica, I obsessively map out all my booths, all my seminars. Like, we're veterans, we've been doing this, so hopefully you guys listen to us and I don't think you'll be sorry. So this year, I have been blessed to have spoken 35 times at the Builder Show because of this program, Brad. I looked up, my first one was in 2002, and it was Achieving Big Results with Small Active Adult Communities. So I've talked on a lot of topics over the years. But this year, I took a back seat, planned 2 years in advance from my longstanding program that I founded, but I do want to plug it because it's an amazing program. And it just didn't align with my business and personal goals this year, so I did step back. But it is the Design and Product Trends program. We fill a room of 600 people, guys. My previous co-host and my new replacement co-host are going to do an amazing job. It is Tuesday at 2:15. If you're at all interested in products from the leading suppliers that are out there and design trends, we put in hundreds of hours of work on this in advance. So I'll be in the audience this year. I think it's called the Insider's Guide. It is at 2:15 on Tuesday with Dawn Duhamel and Kate Perhassian, and they're amazing speakers. So I hope you guys can go see that program.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Paul, are you're speaking, although we don't know if we can find you on the website. We'll have to see about that. But
yeah, you can now. It is operational. I think you have to go to the speaker section. It is a little bit odd, but I think you do that and you'll be able to look up by last name for anybody that's out looking there, that's speaking there, sorry. And I am looking up my times because I don't have them handy, but it is on Tuesday. I'll be speaking, I believe, 12:30. We're doing a talk on AI. So you'll have to Google that, but that's with Al Trellis leading that, and a number of other great companies that are going to be sharing on AI, which is all, very hot these days. And then later that same day at 4:30, I'll be joining Camille Jenkins on a customer experience presentation at the end of the day. So those are my two for the show.
Cool. And I want to get back to AI here as we get everybody's in here, because I want to talk a little bit about it because we know it's hot. So Kimberly, you speaking at all, or are you attending this year?
I am. I was very limited on my time. I only have Tuesday for the show. The rest of the time I'm in meetings. So, but Tuesday morning, 9:30 in West 309B, which is the Building Systems Council room, I am talking about using education as your sales and marketing engine. So, awesome. So I will be speaking at 9:30 with Sabine Steinbasher, but I always mess up her last name. And we're going to be talking about that. So you can find me. It's West 309B. I did look it up before to make sure. And it's weird. So I do want to point out too, if the council rooms and the centrals, and then special interest meeting rooms all have courses and things going on that aren't listed in regular education. So if you have a particular interest in the International Council, then go to that page and it'll give you all of the education sessions that are in that page, Sales Central, Remodeler Central, wherever, and you can see what those sessions are. And of course, they'll be on the big board that is listed throughout all the education areas as well. But that's a great tip that a lot of people don't realize, that wait, there's this whole other thing. And you don't have to have an education pass necessarily. If you're going to the centrals, you do have to have a full expo education pass. But if you're going to these rooms, sometimes you don't need a full, like your exhibit pass. You can also get in to see some of these things. So check in advance if you think that's something you want to see, or you want to, test the waters with education. Those rooms are a great place to get additional education.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a really great point. Not every pass gets you into education. And I think we just want to clarify, make sure you've got the one with education. It is definitely an important facet of this show, is to go to both. And I think it is a little bit more money with the education, or you can get these complimentary floor passes. Floor pass won't get you into the education, so do check.
Yeah. All right, thank you for that. Melissa, are you speaking at all this year, or are you kind of?
Yeah. Yeah, and it was funny when Jane was talking, like going back through history of all the topics. My favorite one way back in the day was she economy, which was marketing to the female buyer. Like I don't know. That we probably still need that. But this year I've got one. It's emerging tech trends and the best of CES, the Consumer Electronics Show. I go as press and media on behalf of the industry to the Consumer Electronics Show and then bring it back in to IBS, but then other opportunities and events through the year. So I'm going to share the stage this year with John Galante, who's president of AE Ventures and hosts the Builder Innovator Conference. Several of us go to that and have been a part of that. And then also Brian McCarthy, who's the CEO of Abrazos Homes, but also has Riot Technology, which is a technology company. He's just really one of those builders who totally embraces new tech. So I don't know how we're going to do it. It's a 30-minute session. So right. I don't know. If you've never been to CES, it's like 2 to 3 times the size of IBS, and it's like crazy. But we'll do our best to condense it down. And that's on Wednesday at 12:45.
Awesome. Awesome. Monica, are you going to be speaking anywhere this year?
No, there we go. No, I'm not speaking anywhere this year, but I am going to be partying.
All right. Yes, you'll be around some of the premier events around. I know you will always do fantastic things on that. And folks, if you don't realize, and with all the speakers here, it's a big deal to get a speaking gig here at IBS. I mean, it is tough. It is some tough competition. I was blessed a couple years ago to have a small little side room. I think it was behind the closet somewhere, but I got in one year. But it is these folks, they get the big rooms. So it's a testament to these folks for being in there.
Well, and if I can just say something real quick about that, they actually would like to have more builders speaking. And if you are interested in sharing your lessons learned and things like that, then take a look at some of the education this year. They start accepting applications next month for next year's speaking opportunities. So encourage you to check that out if you do want to speak at IBS ever. Or for next year.
Yeah. Well, I want to get around a couple of things here quick because I know we're coming up top. And Paul, you had mentioned AI, and we all know AI is big time buzz right now. So I'm just kind of curious with those of you around here. Number one, what do you think about AI, and how can you really kind of cut through the BS? Let's just say it and know. Is it just marketing talk on, yeah, it's AI and it's not really? Like, how do you know it's like real AI or as real as we can get these times? And Paul, since you brought up AI, I'm going, and you're speaking on it right now, I'm going to let you start with this one, and I want to hear others because in different departments, you're going to probably, I'm sure, see it different ways too.
Well, it is definitely a very popular topic, no doubt, and there were a lot of submissions on that this year. But I think the panel, the educational committee, tries to do a good job in vetting for good solutions that are actually AI developers that are providing innovative solutions that builders are using. Usually you'll see sessions that are paired with builders who actually are going to talk about their use of the product or service or software. So I highly recommend that you look for those. No guarantee that all sessions will be good. There's going to be quite a variety of things that are going to be, some are going to be informal sessions, others are going to be the big educational sponsored sessions. So check it out, but I think there's going to be well over 20 or more presentations on AI for the show this year. So definitely a big topic.
Okay.
They have a new AI hub too. Like that's a new thing.
I was going to say that. Yeah, there is an AI hub. AI is something that NAHB is really focusing on now this year. AI is not going away. Surprise, surprise, it's here to stay. It's not going to take your jobs, but it will help people do their jobs better. And so that's just a reality that we kind of need to not resign to, but sort of accept. AI doesn't have all the answers. AI can lie. You just have to be amenable to diving in and just learning a little bit about it and figuring out what your relationship will be with AI. And this is a great opportunity to do that at the show.
Yeah, and I imagine we're going to see some booths that aren't necessarily educational sessions that got vetted. So just, keep your BS meter up there as well, I guess, too, just for that thing. Kimberly, what are you seeing kind of on the sales side of AI that maybe people want to at least keep an eye on or take a peek at?
I think people are looking at AI and how to use it for sales and marketing, how to streamline their brain. I know a lot of we're brainstorming a lot with AI, helping. That's one of actually we're incorporating AI into our presentation with how you can do some research and do some market analysis to really ask the questions that your buyers are asking, and then create that educational content around it so that you educate your buyer before they ever present themselves to you.
Yeah, and with people loving content and can learn everything, I think that's a very important way to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Jane from the Design Center, can AI help with that? Can they help?
Yeah, there's absolutely applicability in AI, whether it's in how we do visual presentations or anything else. And we also focus on the customer experience and business best practices and streamlining operational efficiencies, and AI is going to have impact on all of that. And I'm a lifelong learner, so I'll be in all the AI sessions that I can be, as well as many others, and hope to see everybody there.
That's awesome. And Melissa, I imagine some stuff at CES came up with AI. I'm guessing they probably had a few things there.
I mean, it's interesting when I think about the Consumer Electronics Show from 2024 to 2025 to this year. In 2024, the big question was, is AI real? Are we going to use it? And AI was like its own section, right? Its own area that was covered. 2025, it was more about AIs and everything. So it wasn't a separate section or a separate topic. It was just AIs everywhere. And it was like massive amounts of companies already using it. It's just like, it's here. And then it was interesting, 2026, it was less about what we could do with AI because it's a given, and it's more about how are we going to handle this data storage? Do we have enough chips? Do we have enough servers? Do we have enough power? I mean, which is not very exciting. Actually, I did not get jazzed about that. I'm assuming we'll figure that out, right? Yeah. But I mean, it's just this progression. It is in everything. And I think for builders, what you have to think about, some AI you can do yourself. You can go hire AI agents. You can hire agents to manage your agents. I mean, you can do it, and you have to train them and manage them just like you would people. But I think even more important is you've got to make sure that the vendors and the service providers that you're working with are AI savvy. They're not AI washing, right? It's just kind of saying, oh yeah, we use AI because they can get funding if they do that. VCs love it. But they actually have, and they can talk to you about how they're using AI and why that benefits you as a builder. Because if they're just using AI and they're more profitable, that doesn't help you. If they're using AI and it saves you money, makes your projects better, makes your CX better, there's some end game for you. That's what you really want to care about, because you as a builder may not be able to have the bandwidth and capability to become the AI expert, but you better have partners that do have that.
Awesome stuff.
Sorry, just one last comment is that this is a huge show and there's a lot of people there. So take advantage of talking to other builders about what they're doing with AI, because I just get blown away every time I talk to somebody. They're using it a different way than I've ever thought of. So I would encourage you to talk to other people too, not just attend the sessions.
Great point. We're in the last 2 minutes or 1 minute now. So this is going to be a quick fire, rapid thing here. So we can shoot out which party shouldn't be missed if you can get in. Parties in the evening. Which parties should you not miss if you can get in anyway?
Of course, it's the ECI party.
ECI.
I mean,
shameless self-promotion. Yeah, that's true. That's one. Any others at this point? No.
For builders, Monday night, it's called Builder Connections. It's at Top Golf. So shoot me a line, shoot Brad, anybody a line. We can get you an invitation if you're a builder for that. It's from 5 to 7, right before the Gold Key event. So yeah, there's always like 3. You got to go to 3 every night.
Yep, you're right. So yeah, I should be at that one too. And if anybody's ever seen me golf, you'll know why I've retired from golf. No good. Okay. Eating lunch best tip. I just one of the things you'd mentioned about lunch lines too. One thing I learned years ago, some people actually called Uber and had Uber bring it around so they didn't have to wait in line. So that's just one little tip I'll share with you. If anybody else has some other thought. We talked about shoes. Any networking tips? Jane,
Well,
go
don't
for it.
forget about the housing village. I think we forgot about that. I don't know if they're doing it, but check it out. Professional Builder Housing used to, or it may still, and I think they are this year, puts out and builds a little village of houses in the parking lot. So and they always have, right after the show, they have drinks that are free and sometimes bands out there. So it's a really nice stop right after the show.
That's awesome. Awesome. Jane, did you have something on the networking
Yeah,
side?
I have a tip, and I think everybody on the panel would agree. I hope they would, but I would say go up and talk to a speaker or talk to somebody that's not speaking, but that you've seen speak before that you think is an expert. Introduce yourself. I know for sure, I'm always happy to talk to anybody. You know, you can have such a meaningful conversation that you wouldn't be able to do if you weren't in the same place. So go up and introduce yourself to Kimberly or Paul or Melissa or Monica or Brad, and say, hey, you know, do you have 5 minutes to talk to me about this? And I think you can get so much out of that. I know I have.
I think that is fantastic. And someone mentioned, I think it was you, Jane, earlier about bringing your dance card. So if you're at a party, let's dance, okay? I have no shame. So hopefully you'll get out there too as well. So folks, it's 4:01. I've taken over an hour of your time. I want to thank all of you for joining us here on my panel, all of you out in webinar land there who've come in and joined too. Hope you have the greatest International Builder Show. Certainly look us up, find us as you're out and about there. Thank you all again. Your wisdom and knowledge is so wonderful. I'm so happy that you took some time to join me. So folks, we're going to call it a day. Have yourself a good one. Stay warm if you're in the north or in the south, I guess these days anyway. And we'll talk to you soon. Take care. See you at IBS. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.